The WNBA is a unique market, right? It moves a little bit different. You take a bet, a limit play, even if the limit is 2 dimes on a side, you don't go from 11.5 to 12. You know what I mean? You got to go. Because if they bet you the second number, then you go, oh boy, now we have a decision that we really didn't think we got a big decision. Books love decisions.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds? Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Team USA has made its way over to Abu Dhabi as we get ready for the Paris Olympics. It's the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. Some of those talking points and more here in our second hour as we welcome you to hour number 2 on this Monday morning, live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens. On this Monday, the All-Star break begins around MLB. We'll use the end of the final weekend, more than 95 games or so for most teams around the majors, to reset where the odds are for what will happen in July as we return from the All-Star break, and also, of course, preview what we will see on this Monday night in Arlington. The long ball reigns supreme. It's the 2024 Home Run Derby. So much to get into here, though. We start with a hoops handicap to begin hour number 2.
Yes, and it should be exciting to go through this hour. And also, Ben, keep in mind, we did open up NFL training camps on Saturday with the Baltimore Ravens. Many more teams, rookies, will be heading to camp tomorrow, and away you go throughout the week here. So football season on the horizon, and also BSS, college football games being played not on the field, but on your TV screen, as a lot of these youngsters are happy with that as well.
11 years in the making. Today, the release of EA Sports College Football 25. If you ordered the deluxe package beforehand, as of 4 p.m. Eastern, you can play the new EA Sports CFP 25. Donnie, I haven't owned a gaming console since I was in high school. That was at the age of 18. I am now 30. Yesterday, one of my good friends, unfortunately moving his apartment, could not bring his Xbox with him. I said, hey, any way I can get that from you. I picked it up yesterday. It is in my apartment. It is set up. Today, the Kent State Golden Flashes return to glory in EA Sports College Football 25. I'm going to be a MAC legend when all is said and done. What school are you bringing back to glory, Donnie?
I'm bringing Miami back to glory. It's been too long at this point,
so
it's an easy cop-out answer. But maybe the bigger question here is, you're telling me that at 18 years old, that was the last time you owned a gaming system. What did you do at Syracuse? What did you do in your early 20s here? I'm not.
My friends had PlayStation.
What happens when you went home, though?
Hugh.
What happens when you went home?
Well, I guess it was still at my house. I'm just saying, like, when it was really under my possession. It was still there at my parents' house. Yeah, you're right.
Now, why are we bringing back Kent State here? Like, what's the choice there? How come we like Kent
Well,
State
my
so
girlfriend went to Kent State. I'm a fan of Maction, so I figured why not, right?
I mean, bring back Syracuse. It's been like, what, since the early 90s, mid-90s since Syracuse has been good in football? Come on, man. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Bring McNabb back.
No,
Who was the other number 5
right.
there?
But
Marvin?
Fran Brown's
Marvin
cooking.
something?
What?
Who was the other number 5 back in the day for Syracuse besides McNabb? Was a guy named like Marvin was his first name maybe? Who was it?
Are you thinking of Marvin Harrison Sr.?
No,
Who did play his college football at Syracuse?
Who was some of the good quarterbacks like around that?
No, wait, that's not right.
There you go, Marvin Gray.
That's not right. I'm thinking.
Was that it? I thought there was another Marvin.
Wait, hold on a second. Did Marvin Harrison
back to
play
James Monroe
no,
days?
he didn't, right? I'm thinking of Dwight Freeney, who played in Indianapolis. Am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Can somebody check? My brain's not. Yeah, he did. All right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Did you go to
All right, what a
Syracuse?
day.
What is this? Did you know Carmelo
think
Anthony
so.
went to Syracuse? How about that? Yeah,
He did for 1 year. I actually was watching the Redeem Train on a Redeem Team, the Netflix documentary on a train back from Boston yesterday. All right, should we do what we need to do here? Sometimes we go on tangents to start new hours.
Yeah.
The last couple of days, the Coach O thing, what just was on display, even though I got it correct, but to second guess myself, whew, tough. Tough stuff for the guy that's proclaimed Syracuse Orange and a college football aficionado. Anyway, showcase schedule continues for Team USA in men's basketball as I was watching the Redeem Team and getting ready to go for the 2024 Paris Olympics, this time here for Team USA. Of course, they started last week in the showcase exhibition against Canada. They've made their way out to Abu Dhabi, where today they will take on Australia. One of the 5 games, with 4 still remaining today against the Australians.
Why are we playing so many of these games, though? That's what I don't understand at this point. Like, we're just coming off an NBA season. Yes, I understand you need like a 2-week ramp up, but it feels like this Olympic run is as long as the NBA like playoffs as a whole at this point. Like, do we really need to get a run against Australia and Serbia and South? Like, what are we getting out of South Sudan's game? Come on now. Like, we don't need that.
They're
Get
an
to
Olympic
the
team.
Olympics. Man.
Yeah, but
what about North
South Sudan?
Watch out for North Sudan.
Olympic.
Watch out for the North. Watch out for them.
I don't know if you can kind of say what you just said here on the early line. I'm not exactly sure the geopolitical climate, but that, I don't know if that's acceptable. Team USA, by the way, today, 20.5-point favorite against the Aussies. Total 188 and a hook. I just want to make this point, Donnie. 200.5 was the exhibition match total against Canada last week in Las Vegas. I think the final, after all was said and done, was 86-72, only 158 points. FIBA rules, defensive intensity, first time all playing together. Just keep an eye on that total today against the Aussies.
By the way, keep an eye on this, too. Why are we in Abu Dhabi? Like, why aren't we just playing these games in Las Vegas? Why are we traveling the world at this point? Are we trying to tire out our home team here? And also, from a Joel Embiid perspective at this point, why is Joel flying around the world playing basketball in needless training camps when we need this guy healthy for a regular season? I'm starting to question this. Maybe we should go back to just the college kids in the Olympics here at this point. This is ridiculous.
Oh, my. Some of the things that really grind your gears, it's for pride in country. And Joel Embiid is showing out for the Americans. It's a beautiful thing. Part of, as I learned, the Dream Team's appeal for David Stern back in the day was to grow the NBA brand internationally. Maybe they're trying to do that here as they go on their world tour before they head to Paris.
Yeah, look, we know it's all about the money at this point, but I'm saying, like, we don't need all these games for Team USA. I'm pretty sure Tatum and the boys know how to play basketball and don't need a tune-up game against South Sudan. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I get it. All right, now we are in the deep part of Summer League out in Las Vegas. Maybe that's why they can't play in Vegas anymore. Too much Summer League action happening. Zach Edey remains the Rookie of the Year favorite at 6-1. But Reed Shepherd, 3rd overall pick by the Houston Rockets, the freshman out of Kentucky last year, he is showing out and shining in the desert in a couple of games here in Summer League. 2 games, 45 points, 12 dimes, 10 boards. Shout out to our guy, Joe Frizo, being able to even corral these stats, as we know it's not easy in NBA Summer League or the exhibition showcase for Team USA ahead of the Olympiad over in Paris. But Reed Shepherd has been incredible, Donnie. You look at his face, kind of still looks like a youngster, but he is balling out so far for the Rockets over in Summer League in Las Vegas.
Not bad for a bench warmer at Kentucky making his way into the NBA at this point here. Shout out Coach Cal for not, recognizing the talent that we had in Reed Sheppard. And also, shout out Mark Pope for like, you know what? Why don't you come back to college for one more season? This guy's ready to be an NBA superstar, letting it rip. I love to see debuts that turn out well because it sort of turns that radar on like, oh, maybe he is a really good talent at this point. Now, still a long way to go, but love what I see out of Reed Sheppard so far, no doubt.
So Reed Sheppard moving past Alex Sarr and Zachary Rizache, who were, of course, the first overall pick to Atlanta. Rizache and Sarr second overall to Washington. They faced off against each other on Friday night in Las Vegas. So far, a couple of games for both of those players. Here are the stats for both Alex Sarr and Zachary Rizache. But DRS, as we keep it rolling here through some notable rookies in Summer League, it has been a shaky start for Bronny James. Just 15 points over 3 games, including what we saw, of course, in the California Classic. 6 of 26, 0 of 12 from 3. Not the start that Bronny James was looking forward to. He says he's in a slump, just needs to get out of it.
Yeah, Lakers got that receipt like they're going back to Kohl's to try to make an exchange at this point on Bronny James, the way he's been playing. I mean, come on now. 0 for 12 from 3. A 3-and-D guy? How about playing no D and shooting no threes here? And now all of a sudden we're hearing this from Bronny James. Hey, look, I'm an NBA player. I'm not going to the G League. You guys want to send me wherever you want. You can do that. I think they will, Bronny. I think they will.
But he signed a guaranteed 4-year deal with the Lakers to be on the Lakers roster. They might have to manufacture that deal. More around Major League Baseball up next.
It is Canada. Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, I'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's every time, not sometimes, it's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Now here at the All-Star break around Major League Baseball, we will take a look at both leagues, the pennant prices as we get ready for the remainder of this home stretch of the 2024 MLB season. Now, I'm kind of a stickler when we get to this at the NBA All-Star break here during the Major League Baseball campaign as well. It's the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season, a time to reset, except really it's not. The Yankees have played 98 games. Most teams around the bigs have played at least 95 games this year in Major League Baseball. Out of 162, we're well past that midway point of around 81, but still we use the time to reset now at the break. And we start in the American League. The New York Yankees winning the series this weekend before the All-Star break in Baltimore, unable to complete the sweep yesterday, though, inside Camden Yards. But the Yankees had a 50-cent advantage on the O's entering this weekend set. Now a 70-cent advantage, plus 240 for the Yanks. The O's at plus 310. Donnie, let's start at the top, and then we'll find the value elsewhere around this board. How tightly contested do you think the race for the pennant will be between New York and Baltimore?
Oh, it's going to be like this all the way through. It really is. You got two quality teams in the same division that also are leveling up, or we expect to be leveling up come post All-Star break heading into that trade deadline. You also take a look at the Orioles. Very important for them, as I talked about, just psychology-wise, just to have that game lead over the Yankees, not lose that in that nice little comeback in the ninth inning. But for my money, I do think it reads correctly right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook, where the Yankees at a plus 240 price and a plus 310 price here for the Baltimore Orioles. For me, the two best teams in the American League, and I still do think the Yankees overall will be the better team here, which means they're going to win that division, get home field advantage, and should be able to win the American League pennant. Now, granted, still a long way to go. Injuries are going to happen. But if I'm looking at the team the Yankees have compared to the Orioles, it's pretty even at this point. But I do agree that the Yankees are the slight favorite here in the odds market at the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Even if Baltimore had gone on a tear to end late last week, in fact, they got swept at home by the Cubs and lost 2 of 3 against New York. Let's say the O's had 4.5 game lead in the American League East. I still believe the Yankees would have been an ever so slight favorite, even if just a couple of cents in front of Baltimore, and I agree with the price. Now, the O's are still a young group. Of course, last year were the number 1 seed in the American League postseason, but bounced in that second round in the division series, swept by the Rangers in a best of 5. So those are the two teams at the top, still battling for positioning in their own division. Donnie, I've asked you this question so many different ways throughout the first half of this Major League Baseball campaign. Do you buy any of the stock into the American League Central? Whether it's the Twins, who still trail the Guardians in the division, and Cleveland ever so slightly a better record by a half game over the O's entering the All-Star break. That's the best mark in all of the American League. How about the Astros that have resurfaced at an 8-1 price? Do you think it is worth betting any number outside of those top two teams in the AL?
Yeah, again, you're just looking for darts to throw and say, you know what, if I can get one of these in the bullseye, I can probably make some money, which is why we talked about the Texas Rangers last week at that 80-1 price point to win the World Series, which quite frankly is still there. I believe they're 30-1 up there at this point right now? Yes, 30-1 to win the American League. I don't think that's such a bad option because you're right. If we're looking at teams and if it's top heavy and it's the Orioles and the Yankees who you think are the best two teams, they're in the same division, I agree with that. But also keep in mind, like, we're not like back in like the 1930s. It's like, okay, number 1 and number 2, that's who goes into with home field advantage. Like, no, the Orioles, if they win the division, will have home field advantage, or the Yankees, if they win the AL East. The reason I bring that up is Cleveland Guardians, Minnesota Twins, or Royals. Somebody's going to win that division, which means first round, they're going to get home field advantage as opposed to a wild card team, which would be and or the Yankees, or excuse me, I should say the Orioles and or the Yankees. You take a look at the Mariners, Astros, and Rangers. Somebody's going to win that division, Ben. Somebody is going to have home field advantage over the wild card position, and that's what key to try to line up. So for my money, though, do I like the Guardians? I do. 58-37 is a quality record at the All-Star break. Do I like the Twins? 54-42. I do. I just look at those two teams differently than I would say maybe the upper echelon teams like the Orioles and the Yankees, because I'm not trying to project about what the record is right now. I'm trying to project what that team is going to look at come playoff time. Do we have enough superstar talent in front end rotation with the Guardians and the Minnesota Twins? Because you know what's going to probably happen with the Yankees and the Orioles? They're going to make those acquisitions to beef up their team, knowing that they're going toe-to-toe down the stretch. That's the only reason why I'm sort of downplaying like the Guardians at this point and the Twins and the Royals in the Central. Now, do I think think Seattle's going to make a lot of moves? I actually don't. Do I think the Astros have a ton to make moves with? I don't think so either. Are the Rangers going out to make moves here? No, they have a huge payroll with guys they're hoping to just come back. So getting back to the two teams at the top, the Orioles and the Yankees, that's why I'm so high on those teams. I like what I see right now, and I think they're actually going to improve themselves within 2 weeks. That's why I have those two guys shelved up top. So trusting the Central, I like those teams, Ben. I just don't have trust in them to win it. That's all.
You know, Donnie, I think it is a really fascinating point that you bring up because, again, let's talk about value. What is value? Can you get to a cash out or a hedge out opportunity, or is value cashing the actual ticket? Because right now, I still think the American League runs through the AL East and those two teams at the top. Yes, Houston is playing better. The Astros have been at least in the American League Championship Series each of the past 7 MLB campaigns. But I do find it difficult to look elsewhere and think a team can actually win the pennant as of this moment. However, the wild card race is going to be fascinating. The Yankees, Twins, and Red Sox in those spots right now. The Red Sox still a 20-1 price. I believe there is some value there on Boston if they can be one of those playoff teams in the AL, and I expect them to be. But it's going to be a competitive race for those wild card positions. I say all of that right now because to win a pennant, you need to win, of course, through those playoff rounds in the American League. But as we have seen with the expanded postseason, Donnie, each of the past 2 Octobers, chaos happens. The Rangers were the final team into the American League playoff bracket. They won the pennant, and they won a World Series. So a lot can happen come October, of course.
Oh, of course, yes. And you have a lot more mileage on these arms. So those dominant pitching staffs throughout these summer months here might get a little bit light. We've seen that with Max Scherzer over the years. Dominant during the regular season, runs out of gas at the end. Sometimes it's just a matter of how good those starters are at the end of the season and how your bullpen matches up. But you're right about that. The new wild cards entering into this, everybody has a legitimate chance to win. And also keep in mind, once again, you don't have to win the regular season. You have to win in the playoffs, people, to cash.
But you want to be in those positions, and we'll do the same around the NL next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
First in the American League, now in the NL. At the All-Star break around Major League Baseball, where those pennant prices stand and where there might be some value to be had. Let's start, as we did, DRS, in the AL at the top of the National League. The Phils in a marquee matchup in the final week before the All-Star break, sweeping the LA Dodgers at home. And yes, the Phils did lose yesterday 18-3, and yes, they did lose the weekend set against the Oakland Athletics, but still the best team in Major League Baseball, the best record, so of course that carries over to the NL. The Dodgers will enter the All-Star break losing 8 of their last 11 games. So we start at the top. LA still 20 cents in front of the Fightins, plus 180 for Los Angeles, plus 200 for Philadelphia. I ask you this question to begin. Should the Phillies have the second best odds, or should the Phillies be the favorites?
Based on what we've seen over the first half of the season, and granted, I'm going to say the Phillies should be the favorites here, but also you got to take a look at the way the sports books operate as well. There's a lot of money that came in on the Dodgers right away, so that's still playing in to that price point for them. But having said that, also, what did you take away out of that 3-game series where the Philadelphia Phillies swept the Dodgers? Well, you took away that the Phillies are supposed to win those games, and they did, widening their margin, which helps them in that chase for the number 1 overall seed, which they're probably going to get. However, once you get to the playoffs, it's not going to be Aaron Nola versus an opener against the Dodgers like we were seeing over the weekend or last week. That's not going to be the case. The Dodgers, when they get their pitchers back from IL and add on at the deadline, are going to be a much more formidable opponent. The one thing we have to remind ourselves, it's similar to football, right? If you have a very good quarterback, sometimes it doesn't really matter who's around you as long as they're competent. You're going to win your fair share of football games. The reason I equate that to baseball is if you have a dominant pitcher on the mound and your lineup isn't so good, a la the Braves right now, you have a chance to win every single game because the pitcher is the most important position on that field on a game-to-game basis. And you always hear this adage, you're only as good as the starting pitcher and momentum for the next day, right? So when you sort of break that down, the Dodgers have been throwing out junk after junk after junk, just trying to get to the deadline when the Phillies are throwing Zach Wheeler and throwing Aaron Nola out you and Sanchez. That's going to work out much, much better. Case in point, you saw yesterday with the Phillies in Oakland. The Phillies like, well, Wheeler's going to miss his final start. Bullpen game, turns out 18 runs for Oakland. You're only as good as the starting pitcher that you have on the mound that day. And trust me, the Dodgers will be much better with their starting pitching staff, at least we hope, in the months of August, September, and October.
Just quickly here so we can highlight what Oakland did yesterday. 18 runs. They had 3 players hit multiple home runs, Lawrence Butler, Brett Rooker, and Seth Brown. Crazy. Lawrence Butler had 3 home runs and 6 RBIs yesterday. The first time, of course, as you would expect in franchise history for the A's, they've had 3 players hit multiple home runs, 2+ long balls in a single game. Donnie, there are arguments that were kind of jokes, but now I think very true, that the Dodgers IL team could beat their everyday roster at the moment because the starting pitching would have such an upper hand with Tyler Glasnow and Yoshi Yamamoto and Clayton Kershaw and Dustin May still all on the injured list, despite the offensive firepower that might be there on the other side. The Braves, the third best price at plus 460. There are 5 teams around Major League Baseball at this moment that enter the All-Star break with a 9-1 price or better to win a World Series. The Phillies, Dodgers, Yankees, Orioles, and those Braves. In the World Series market, you have to double Atlanta's price to get to Cleveland at 18-1. Are the Braves, in your estimation, Donnie, because of that pitching staff, despite what they don't have in Spencer Strider or Ronald Acuna Jr., is Atlanta still a legitimate contender to win the National League pennant?
I'm going to say no, but let's fast forward and say, we're not going to have any missteps with Sale and or Lopez, and they're just as dominant. Why don't they have a chance at that point? But you're still trying to extrapolate. Is Sale going to be this effective in 60 days? Same thing with Lopez at this point. I'm going to say probably not, and I just don't think they have enough firepower overall. But, as I always tell you guys, that's a great front office. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to improve their team at the deadline. There's something to watch. But by the way, quick little side topic on what happened in Philadelphia again yesterday, Ben. When you like to make me commissioner of sports, Explain to me why position players pitch in Major League Baseball and make a mockery of the game late. We don't do that really in any other sport at this point. And also, for the Phillies to say, well, we didn't want to use any of our bullpen. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you know what? They're all spent. They're burnt out. It's a shame they don't have 6 straight days off to try to get that bullpen back with some rest. So you couldn't throw an extra guy out of the bullpen as opposed to Garrett Stubbs giving up run after run, home run after home run. That's embarrassing part of the sport that we don't talk about all that much. There should never, ever be a position player that ever throws a single pitch in a Major League Baseball game. That's ridiculous.
I don't know if you want to be the commissioner of MLB or the manager of the Phillies. See you later, Rob Thompson. Yeah. More around the WNBA up next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Hardwood handicaps on this Monday with our coach James Young, JY. We look back on the Sunday quadruple header around the WNBA. We will also talk some NBA Summer League action, and then as of this Monday, our second of 5 exhibition games for Team USA to get ready for the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the Americans and the Aussies tonight in Abu Dhabi to get things going. JY, we appreciate your time here on this Monday. Thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure. Happy Monday to both of you. And yes, some interesting WNBA action. A great comeback win. The Liberties decide that some people don't get double-double, so we actually got a lot to talk about in the W today.
Yes, we certainly do. And we start on Sunday in Minneapolis, or was it Indianapolis? I'm not entirely sure, based on the crowd yesterday inside the Target Center for the matchup between the Lynx and the Fever. I didn't hear what I think I just heard. Anyway, actually about the game in front of a large crowd, maybe slightly even skewing to Indy's side of things. The Fever pick up a huge road victory over the Minnesota Lynx, 81-74. Indiana winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog. Aaliyah Boston, 17 points, 16 boards. Kelsey Mitchell, the game's leading scorer, finishing with 21 points for the Fever. Oftentimes, JY, things in the WNBA can be more than a basketball game. And on the other side, last night from Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Indiana was Minnesota's head coach Cheryl Reeve, who is the head coach of the U.S. women's basketball team getting ready for the Paris Olympics at the end of this month. Do you think Indiana was out to make a statement yesterday?
They certainly were. And the biggest thing that you want to talk about with a young team is when they get punched in the mouth, do they find a way, Ben, to make a run? Do they find a way to come back and show everyone what they're capable of? Christy Sides, let's be honest, Ben, you and I have both been critical of her at times, especially defensively and their adjustments or their, I could say, lack thereof. But Ben, that fourth quarter was a thing of beauty. 28-14 in the fourth quarter. Going into that game, down 7 going in the fourth, and obviously flipping the game on its head after being outscored by 7 in the third quarter. And it was a little bit of everyone. Obviously, she did not shoot the ball great in the first 3 quarters, but hey, knock down your free throws, knock down your shots, you get 10 points, obviously, out of Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell, who has had to adjust her game, like Melissa Smith, like others, also had to kind of adjust, had well in 9 points. But Aaliyah Boston, Ben, we've gone over this time and time again. This season turned when she turned. Her and Caitlin had to get on the same page. They had to figure out how to play with each other. And now that you get Aaliyah, basically a double-double machine. I took it yesterday. I think it was plus 110, plus 115 to get a double-double. She has just galvanized this team, and it's allowed Caitlin to look at her game and say, okay, I may not shoot the ball well for 3 quarters, but I can get my shots in the fourth quarter. I'll get everybody involved. I'll get the rebounds. I'll do all the other things. I'll facilitate. And that is making this team, let's be honest, dangerous. This is 2 weekends in a row. Comeback wins. Minnesota, last weekend, the big performance against the New York Liberty coming behind the last 3 minutes. Then this could be a team come playoff time you may not want to see because they're so young and green, they just won't care.
Yeah, and the problem is, or should have said the problem was over the first 10 games, did they have the right coach and could this team just sort of come together? You take a look at those last 12 games, 8-4 overall, making a push into the playoffs. It's great to see. If we take a look at some other scores from this weekend, Coach, we had you live on the air on the SportsGrid Network moments after the Liberty Sky game ended, 81-67. Liberty picked up the victory, but that's not what we were talking about. The double-double streak came to an end for Angel Reese, and it came to an end where you basically saw the Liberty say, yeah, it's coming to an end here now. We are going to double, triple, and quadruple team you to make sure you don't get that 10th point here. Talk about that game and also what's next up here for Angel Reese after not being able to secure that bag again on the double-double.
I'll tell you what, it was one of the first times in a long time. I used to see sometimes in high school if you had a dominant player where you play a box and one. 4 people on one person guarding everyone else. And that's what you had that last possession last night. And here's the thing, folks, and I want to make sure people understand this. People better stop this narrative of going after the Liberty for what they did. They did the right thing. You want to try and score? We're supposed to stop you from scoring. Now, playing a triple team may be a little bit aggressive. You saw Breanna Stewart, from the sideline screaming at them. But I'll tell you what, if they would have just fouled her and put it to the foul line and make her get that double-double that way, the whole narrative of the whole streak would have changed. It would have changed from, hey, the streak to how she got it. And simply put, she shouldn't have been in that position. You can't go 3 for 13 from the floor. You can't go 3 for 11 inside the lane or 3 of 10 inside the charge circle, which is 3 feet from the basket. You have to finish better. If Angel Reese would have finished better the first 3.5 quarters, we wouldn't have been in this position to begin with. And her reaction afterwards of kind of throwing her hands up when she didn't get the ball back and started walking back showed me more about it was about the streak than anything else. And I, as a coach, have a problem with that.
So, JY, I'm not sure where the narrative was that people were mad at the Liberty. I think the overall assessment was, as we have seen this record-breaking streak of consecutive double-doubles continue for Angel Reese, where there was more emphasis on the individual streak than anything that looks like team basketball or how general games come to a close, that you kind of got what you were asking for, that you were going out there with everything on the line, trying to make sure that you could secure your streak. If you are going to make it seem like scoring a basket down by 14 in a regular season game has the equal sense of significance as trying to score a basket in a playoff game, you deserve to be guarded as such. That was at least my reaction and what I was seeing around the social media conversation for how that came to a close. Kudos to the New York Liberty for winning that basketball game by 14 on the road. The Liberty now 20 wins, the only team in the WNBA to do just that. The Sun absolutely blowing out yesterday, 96-69 over the Phoenix Mercury. 18-5 start for Connecticut, tied for the best in franchise history. In the Aces, JY, since the return of Chelsea Gray, it's been a similar story for Las Vegas. 89-77, the victory yesterday against the Washington Mystics. Asia Wilson, what more could you ask? 28 points, 17 boards. But since the return of Chelsea Gray, they were 6-6. From that point, the Aces have now won 10 of their last 11. JY, as you look at the top of the WNBA, the New York Liberty, the Las Vegas Aces, the Connecticut Sun, the Minnesota Lynx, even without Nafisa Collier at this moment. How do you evaluate those title odds here toward the end of the month of July?
I think they're just about right. I think the Aces with Chelsea Gray, the point guard, we talked about it before, allows Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young to kind of slide into their natural 2 and 3 position. And they've been outstanding since the point guard has come back. The Liberty have done what they've had to do, which is win games for the most part. Sabrina Ionescu was absolutely sensational with her performance. The Minnesota Lynx, they have to make sure to get healthy, get Nafisa Collier back. They're going to need to hopefully get Diamond Miller back at some point. The Suns' concern basically been is their ability to shoot the ball from 3. They don't shoot it well, but it's interesting. Really quick, the Aces and the Sun were both down big early yesterday, and I jumped on them end of the first quarter because they're the teams that they literally, like the Liberty as well, like which was down 7 also to Chicago, they could turn games on. So you can look at times in game where you can get back into it, or in the case of what I did again, halftime for the Sun game, because they're the best team in the WNBA at defending in the third quarter. They adjust at the break.
Yeah, they certainly do. The Aces were down at the break yesterday in D.C. against the Mystics, and then, of course, came back to win by 12 as a 12.5-point favorite in the nation's capital. Summer League action and reactions with JY up next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
JY's Summer League scouting report now that Summer League is officially underway out in Sin City in Las Vegas. Fully getting underway over the weekend with some more action on this Monday night featuring Reed Sheppard of the Houston Rockets. The third overall selection by the Rockets has looked like an excellent pick so far. But JY, we start with 1 and 2. The French countryman, Zachary Rizache of the Atlanta Hawks, Alex Sarr for the Washington Wizards, facing off on Friday night and a couple of games under their belt now in Las Vegas. What has your takeaway been of both Sarr and Rizache now in NBA Summer League play?
You know, Rizache is a little bit bigger or taller than I thought. I was impressed with his ability off the bounce a little bit. And I thought, you know, he showed me that he's going to develop into a nice NBA player. Sarr, my concern was going to have been, you know, we talked about on draft night, his ability to knock down perimeter shots. I thought that's something that I had a concern for. So I've seen him at least take these shots and be willing to shoot the ball from three a little bit. Going 2 of 5, so maybe I kind of mismanaged that a little bit. But, you know, for the most part, also his ability to block shots, 4 block shots, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, showed me a little bit of a complete game. And honestly, just kind of frustrated that you-know-what out of me that Washington went and signed Jonas Valanciunas. Unless they think that Sarr could be a 4, which is, I don't know, because then there's Kuzma and there's other parts there with Washington. But for the most part, I was more encouraged by what I saw by the 2 young rookies. Listen, they didn't shoot the ball great, but they took shots. They were aggressive. And I think the sky's the limit for both of those 2 Frenchmen.
Yeah, fun to see him play right out of the gate and playing good basketball, not under really that scrutiny that we saw last year in Wembanyama coming over from France in his first game. He can't play. I can't believe they drafted him number 1. The joke is on Spurs, and the joke's on everybody, is Wembanyama is going to be a very good NBA player. Let's talk about Reed Sheppard, a guy that didn't go 1 or 2, but went 3 and was sort of solidified in that number 3 position. Talk to me about what you saw to Reed Sheppard, because the one thing we knew in college, he could fill it up. He's doing the same thing right now in the Summer League, Coach.
Yeah, and real quick on Wembanyama, Donnie, that guy's going to be top 10 in the NBA by the end of the year, and he may be top 10 now, let's be honest. Yeah. Now, when you talk about Reed Sheppard, I mean, it was interesting because when I looked at that backcourt, right, of Jalen Green, of Fred VanVleet, I'm like, you know what, maybe he should have went Donovan Clingan and gone big on big, moved Şengün to the power forward spot. There's been rumors of calls being made to Houston. And then I watched Reed Sheppard play this week. I said, I changed my mind because there are guys that just get buckets. And this kid can get buckets. He's sneaky athletic. He's very good defensively. He shoots it from deep and at a high clip. He has an ability to create for others. It's interesting because here we go, guys. Here we go again. Calipari's kids. Like, they come into the league and we have things where we think we're concerned about, and then they come out the blocks and they always seem to outdo what we thought. And Reed Sheppard has been fantastic. And the combination of Reed Sheppard and Cam Whitmore has been absolutely electric so far in Summer League, and probably been the best duo at that point, to the point where I think yesterday, Reed Sheppard was tied with Terrence Shannon Jr., another guy that's had a really good start, for co-favorites to be MVP. I'm sure the market has moved, but Reed Sheppard has been absolutely tremendous, guys, the first 2 games.
There's a lot to like in H-Town if you're optimistic about the Rockets. Last year, first year under Ime Udoka, they gave the Warriors a test down the stretch to kind of push Golden State for that 10th and final spot in the Western Conference play-in tournament. Houston finished at an even 500, 41-41, selecting in the top 4 of the NBA draft for the 4th consecutive season. Reed Shepherd, 3rd overall. Looks pretty good right now. Moving up the board, in fact, to win NBA Rookie of the Year at 7-1, behind Zach Edey, who remains the favorite after his dramatic odds movement as well, plus 600. Both of those guys in front of the guys that went 1 and 2 out of France, Alex Sarr and Zachary Rizache. JY, when you look at the Rookie of the Year odds right now, where do you think the best bet might lie?
Well, I think Edey, is now the favorite. I'm gonna say another guy that I thought looked good is Stephon Castle at 10-1, and he showed a little bit of a propensity, Ben, to show a different side of his game. And I think this is what becomes hard for people to understand is he wasn't asked to be the primary ball handler at UConn. They had Tristan Newton. He was more of the 3-and-D guy, but he's shown, Ben, I saw a really silky smooth ability to come off of pick and rolls and know when to keep it and when to pitch it. And I think that is something that I want to see with Victor Wembanyama and another team. It's going to be, let's put it this way, it's going to be really exciting in the Lone Star State when it comes to basketball this year. Dallas is going to be Dallas. I agree with you. I think Houston may be the team that makes the big jump. There's always a team that kind of comes out of nowhere. It could be Houston, or it could be the Spurs. Because this kid plays defense and offense. He's going to be up there, I think, in steals. He may be up there with assists because he's got guys around him. 10-1. I'm starting to like Castle as another, I guess I would call him value play because he's kind of like tied for 5th. So I'm going to go with it that he's a value play at 10-1.
Yeah, Houston was really pushing for that final playoff spot last year. We'll see if they can take that next step. But the next step, is it an NBA step or is it a misstep? It's Bronny James. 3 games played, 15 total points, 6 for 26 from the field, 0 for 12 from three-point range. Now, the question is right now, people might see those statistics and get upset. This is almost exactly what he did in college, Coach. We're not surprised, are we?
Duck. Because when Bronny James shoots, duck. Especially if it's from 3. I mean, listen, we can line up a bunch of guys on SportsGrid, and I know all of us are going to knock that at least 1 3 out of 12. So he is struggling. At the end of the day, he defends. He defends. We get that. But one-trick ponies of guys that just defend, that can't create for others or knock down shots, they don't make it in this league. And I hope and I pray that they just don't stick that guy at the end of the bench because of his last name. He's got to go to the G League. He's got to play. He's got to play 35 minutes a night, and that's the only way we can evaluate him and get him better is by having him play, not sit next to his dad on the bench. I'm sorry I said it.
A guaranteed deal in Los Angeles as of this moment. Not a two-way deal, but we'll see how they structure things moving forward this summer. Team USA in Abu Dhabi. Break it down next.
It is Canada. Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The second of 5 games in the showcase schedule for Team USA, the men's basketball team getting ready for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Last week, it was a 14-point win over Team Canada out in Las Vegas. Today, it's a matchup against Australia over in Abu Dhabi. JY, as they continue to go through this 5-game exhibition slate, each and every game, what do you want to see the Americans improve on to get ready to win gold at the 2024 Paris Olympics?
Well, the first thing I want them to do, honestly, Ben, is I just want them to value possessions. I thought they were extremely sloppy in their first game versus Canada. Yes, and a lot of that could have to do with players not being on the same page and not playing together. And I think that's something where sometimes you face the European teams, Ben, and have the same teams over and over and over. There's more continuity there. They more understand how to play with each other. So to me, the one thing I need to see more than anything is their ability to value possessions and take care of the ball. Secondly, shoot the ball a little bit better from three. I know they defended it great, but still only 30% from three from the three-point line. I would like to kind of see them shoot it a little bit better from there. But the one thing I want to see, Ben, is I want to see that defensive tenacity. It took them a couple of minutes to get rolling, but once they got what was it, down 11-1, I mean, they just turned on a level of intensity defensively that is going to be unrivaled and unmatched by any team in the world. So I think as Americans, what we need to do is we want this team to come out. We want to play solid fundamental defense, and we want it from Jump Street. Let your defense lead to your offense, because let's be honest, because they can't shoot it that great at times, they're best in transition. Get up in the passing lanes, defend like crazy, secure the first rebound, and get out in transition.
You take a look at the numbers here at the FanDuel Sportsbook to win the Olympics and the gold medal. Team USA is a minus 550 price, which obviously is so much higher than everybody else. Canada, who they just played in the exhibition, is 11-1. And they didn't bring their A game, B game, maybe even C game, just played great defense and won by double digits. Coach, let me ask you this question, because we do expect Team USA to win Olympic gold. But what could be the downfall of Team USA that gives the door open to another nation that says, you know what, here's where it could go wrong for Team USA?
Like I said, a team doesn't value possessions, and a team that doesn't shoot the ball from three. If you can get hot, you can get yourself a chance. Listen, we saw it. We talked about this before. We saw it in the NBA Finals. The biggest equalizer, and it seemed like a thing that could flip a game on its head, is a team gets hot from three, and it could happen at any point. So I think you want to try and really win the 3-point line. You got to win it by big numbers. You got to hit and gain what? Probably 18 to 21 points from the 3-point line. You got to hit 6, 7, 8 more threes to hope that could offset what happens in the half court. The other thing is, I keep looking at France. I know people think I'm crazy, and even guys like Kevin Walsh think I'm over exaggerating it. But I'm concerned about France with Wembanyama and Gobert. Like that, you can't simulate 7-4, 7-1 with a 7-4 guy that can shoot the three from NBA range. There's no one in the USA that's tall enough that could even affect the shot. And then there's always Serbia and the big man in the middle. So there are teams that are going to concern us, but we should win the gold if we defend. If not, and we don't shoot well, all it takes is one team getting from hot from three, and we can be set packing in the medal round.
Just over a week and a half away from opening ceremonies. That's Friday, July 26th. Action will happen Saturday, July 27th over in Paris for the 2024 Olympic Games. Team USA for its opener against Serbia, who they will play in this exhibition showcase. 14.5-point favorite against Nikola Jokic and the Serbians, just to show you the perspective of what the Americans are thought of doing over in Paris. JY, for the exhibition game today, odds available now on the FanDuel Sportsbook. USA 20.5-point favorite against the Aussies with the total at 188.5. Is there anything from a handicapping perspective for this exhibition match that you like?
Yeah, I just like the USA to cover because I think they're going to come out a little bit better and more aggressive. I think they're going to defend better, and I think they're going to come out and really try to attack teams because I think that's the best way we're going to play. If you find team totals, I would look team total under because I think you're going to have to defend. I think Steve Kerr is going to make them defend and hold them accountable as such. This is a chance where they have to start to ramp it up. Also, points prop, anyone. Anthony Edwards seems like he wants to be that dude. If I'm Steve Kerr, I put him in the starting lineup. If he goes in the starting lineup, folks, I think he actually could be the leading scorer, not only for tonight, for Team USA in the Olympics.
No points props available for this exhibition match as of right now. We'll see about later. JY, thank you for being here on this Monday. A fadeaway to the break, and hour number 3 on the other side.
Dangerous.